Alright, part 2 ng stock rights or share rights or right issue. Parehas lang ang ibig sabihin nun. On this video, pag-aaralan natin ang isang practice question na ipapresent ko sa iyo, and we are going to apply all the concepts that we learned at i-analyze natin ang practice questions na ito. Ang gagawin natin, we are going to make a journal in using the two ways of accounting share rights. Yung accounted for separately and not accounted for separately. Ang gagawin ko dito is i-column natin so you can see side by side ang difference ng bawat isa. Mag-uumpisa tayo sa pagbabasa ng practice questions, and here is the practice question. A&D Company acquired 5,000 ordinary shares of an investee for 500,000. Ang 500,000, yan ang cost ng investment ni A&D Company. Si A&D Company ang ating investor. During the year, the investee distributed 5,000 share rights to A&D Company. So, tumanggap si A&D Company ng 5,000 share rights. Remember our concept, kapag meron kang isang share, that is equivalent to one share right. Kung meron kang 5,000 ordinary shares, meron ka ding tatanggaping 5,000 share rights. Alright? Kasi 1:1. A&D Company was entitled to buy new share, isang share for 90 pesos and 5 of these share rights. So, ang ibig sabihin, makakabili si A&D Company, ang ating investor, ng isang bagong share sa halagang 90 pesos at 5 share rights. Each new share had a market value of 150 pesos and each right had a market value of 5 pesos. Dito sa problem questions na ito or practice questions na ito, given ang market value ng ating share rights. Bago natin siya i-solve or bago natin siya i-analyze and solve this problem, ilalagay ko dito yung mga formations na kakailanganin natin to solve this problem. Alright, so ito yung mga informations na kakailanganin natin to solve this problem. Isosolve natin ang problem na ito comparing the two ways how to account this share right. Yung counted for separately and not accounted for separately. So, ganito yan. So, ang una nating transaction is i-record natin ang ating cost of our investment. Nung in-acquire ni A&D Company ang 5,000 ordinary shares from the investee, paano natin ito i-record? Here, we have our transactions. We have our two ways on accounting for this stock rights or share rights. Yung accounted for separately and not accounted for separately. Ang una natin i-record ay nung in-acquire ni A&D Company ang investment na ito for 500,000. On accounted for separately, ang ating magiging entry ay debit to the investment and credit to cash. Alright, so ginagamit natin yung account na investment dahil yan ang generic account ng investment. Alright, pwede mong gamitin kung ang classification ng investment na ito ay financial asset FVPL, then yun ang gagamitin mong investment account. Kung ang classification ng investment na ito ay financial asset FVOCI, then yun ang gagamitin mong account. Debit to financial asset FVOCI and credit to cash. Then on not accounted for separately, parehas lang ang magiging entry natin. We debit our investment account and we credit our cash. Yan ang magiging entry natin on both method. Debit to investment of 500,000 and credit to cash of 500,000. Our next transaction is nung tinanggap ni A&D Company ang ating investor ang 5,000 share rights. To record our share right, To record the share rights na ni-receive natin from the investee, our number of share rights is 5,000. Ang fair market value of our stock rights or share rights ay 5 pesos. So, 5,000 share rights multiplied by the 5 pesos market value of that share rights. Ang value ng ating share rights ay 25,000. So, to record this under accounted for separately, we will debit share rights and we credit our investment. Sa accounted for separately, kinukuha natin yung value ng share rights natin from our investment. You remember the pizza, merong slice yung pizza dahil yung slice na nakuha natin from that pizza ay nilalagay natin sa amount ng share rights. So, on this accounted for separately, dalawa na ang iyong instrument. The investment itself and the share rights na ni-receive niya from the investee with the proof of the share warrants. On not accounted for separately, wala tayong magiging entry kasi hindi natin sineseparate yung share rights from the investment. So, anong gagawin natin dito? So, not accounted for separately. Gagawa lang tayo ng memorandum entry. Our example of our memorandum entry is receive 5,000 share rights to subscribe for new shares at 90 pesos per share for every 5 rights held or a total of 1,000 new shares. Yan ang example ng ating memorandum entry na gagawin ni investor kapag ang kanyang way of accounting this share rights ay not accounted for separately. Dito sa accounted for separately, kung titignan mo ang carrying amount ng iyong investment account after receiving the share rights and after recording your share rights, magiging 475,000 na lang siya. Nung nirecord natin ang investment from the acquisition of this investment, we debit our investment account of 500,000 and we credit our cash of 500,000. Nung ni-receive natin ang ating share rights, kumuha tayo ng amount from the investment para ilagay natin sa ating share rights. So, dito sa accounted for separately, sa kanyang financial statement, meron siyang investment account at meron din siyang share right na account. Dito sa not accounted for separately, ang kanyang financial statement ay investment of 500,000. Wala siyang share rights kasi hindi niya sineparate yung share rights na yan from the investment. Make sure kapag nagsosolve ka ng problems with regards to share right, paano nire-record or ina-account ng investor ang kanyang share rights kapag accounted for separately or not accounted for separately. Kasi magkaiba ang kanilang ending result. Dito sa accounted for separately, ang kanyang investment account magkakaroon na ngayon ng 475,000. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately, ang kanyang investment account ay still 500,000. So ano ba ang pwede natin gawin sa ating share rights? Pwede natin siyang exercise. By exercising our share rights, bibili tayo ng new shares at a lower price, lower than the market price. Pwede rin natin siyang ibenta, sale of our share rights. Pwede rin natin siyang pabayaan na lang na ma-expire ang ating share rights. So, expirations of the share rights. So, una, gawin natin, i-exercise natin itong share rights natin. Alright, so example, in-exercise natin ang lahat ng ating share rights. So, ang ibig sabihin, A&D Company ay bibili siya ng 1,000 shares sa halagang 90 pesos. Ang computations natin, dahil bumili siya ng 1,000 shares times 90, meron siyang 90,000 cash na ibinigay sa investee by purchasing this 1,000 shares at subscription price of 90 pesos. Itong bagong shares na in-acquire niya na 1,000 shares, ang cost ng investment na yan ay 90,000 plus the value of the stock rights na 25,000. So, ang value ngayon ng ating new investment or new shares ay 115,000. To record this new investment on accounted for separately, we debit our investment account or our investment in shares. Then we credit our cash of 90,000. Yan yung ibinayad ni A&D Company kay investee nung in-acquire niya yung 1,000 shares. Then another credit for the share rights. Dahil in-exercise mo na siya, kailangan i-zero out na natin. So, yan ang ating entry sa accounted for separately. Under not accounted for separately, ang investment niya ngayon ay debit to investment of 90,000 and credit to cash of 90,000. So, magkaiba sila kung ang tanong sa'yo, the cost of the new investment under accounted for separately, the cost of the new investment is composed of the subscription price na binayad ni A&D Company or ng investor plus the value of the stock right. The cost of the new investment is 115,000. Pero kapag not accounted for separately naman ang ginagamit ni investor, the new cost of the investment is 90,000. After exercising the stock rights, ang financial statement niya is dito naman sa not accounted for separately, ang kanyang financial statement after exercising all the stock rights or share rights ay alright, so at the end, parehas lang sila ng carrying amount of their investment after they exercise all the stock right. So, dito sa accounted for separately, ang carrying amount is 590,000 and that is from 475,000 plus the 115,000 na dinebit natin na investment. So, 590,000. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately, ang investment niya ay 590,000. 500,000 plus another investment from exercising all the stock rights or from purchasing the new shares of 90,000. Nagkakaiba lang sila kapag ang tanong sa problem mo is kung magkano ang cost ng new investment. So, ito ang tip ko sa'yo. Tatandaan mo palagi paano nire-record ni investor ang kanyang share rights. Kapag ang share rights ay ni-record accounted for separate, ang cost of the new investment is composed of the exercise price or the subscription price plus the value of the stock rights. Yan ang cost ng new share. Dito sa not accounted for separately, kung magkano lang yung cost na pagbili niya ng kanyang new share, yun ang cost ng bago niyang investment or the cost of the new investment. Diyan sila nagkakaiba. So, paano naman kung hindi niya in-exercise ang kanyang stock rights? Ang ginawa niya is ibinenta niya lahat ang kanyang stock rights. So, this is another scenario. So, paano natin yan i-account? Ganito yan. Let's say, for example, ibinenta niya ito ng 30,000. Itong lahat ng kanyang mga share rights. Itong lahat ng kanyang mga share rights. Nung ibinenta niya, ang kanyang magiging entry is debit to cash of 30,000 kasi yan ang natanggap niya or ang kanyang selling price of the stock rights. Ang value ng share rights na ibinenta niya ay 25,000. So, ang ibig sabihin, nagkaroon siya ng gain na 5,000. Alright, so ito ang magiging entry natin nung ibinenta ni A&D Company ang kanyang share rights. So we debit our cash of 30,000, we credit our share rights, i-zero out na natin ang ating share rights kasi ibinenta na nga po natin siya. Then we will have a gain on sale of stock rights or share rights na 5,000. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately, ang magiging entry natin is debit to cash of 30,000 dahil wala tayong share rights, ang credit natin ay yung investment dito sa not accounted for separately. So we debit our cash of 30,000 and we credit our account investment of 30,000. So yan po ang ating entry sa not accounted for separately. We debit our cash of 30,000 at ima-minus na natin yan sa investment of 30,000. So after selling this stock rights, ang magiging financial statement dito sa accounted for separately, ang kanyang investment will be 475,000. Wala na siyang share rights kasi na zero out na natin dahil nga naibenta na niya yung share rights niya. At ang financial statement naman na accounted for separately ay ang investment niya ay magiging 470,000. Dahil 500,000 nung in-acquire niya yung investment na yan, then nag-credit siya ng 30,000 nung ibinenta niya ang kanyang share rights. So, magkaiba sila ng carrying amount after selling all the stock rights. Carrying amount ng investment is 475,000. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately ay naging 470,000 dahil nung ibinenta niya, minus natin yan sa kanyang investment account na 30,000. So, ang ibig sabihin, dito sa not accounted for separately, hindi siya nagre-recognize ng any gain or loss on the sale of the stock rights. Alright? Kung magkano niya na ibenta ang kanyang share rights or stock rights, yun ang ima-minus niya sa kanyang investment account. Kung ano man yung naiiwan, yun na lang ang kanyang carrying amount. Dito sa not accounted for separately. Dito naman sa accounted for separately, dahil mayroong value ang kanyang share rights, nire-recognize ni investor ang gain or loss on sale of the stock rights. Dito sa not accounted for separately, wala tayong gain or loss of sale of the stock rights. Paano naman ngayon kung hindi niya in-exercise, hindi niya ibinenta yung mga share rights niya, hinayaan na lang niya na mag-expire ang kanyang share right. Paano natin i-account yon? Ganito yan. So, under accounted for separately, ang ating magiging entry is debit to loss on share rights and credit to share rights. So, ang loss on share rights natin is kung magkano yung value ng share rights niya, yun ang i-debit natin sa ating loss on share rights. At ang account na ito ay pinipresent sa ating income statement as our loss. And then, i-zero out na natin itong share rights natin na 25,000. So, we credit our share rights of 25,000. Dahil worthless na siya, hindi mo na siya magagamit kapag na-expire na siya, kapag beyond the expiration date na siya. Under not accounted for separately naman, dahil wala siyang share rights na account, memorandum entry lang ang gagawin niya. Nagsasaad na itong 5,000 share rights na na-receive niya from the investee ay na-expire na po. So, memorandum entry lang po dito sa not accounted for separately. So, kung ang tanong sa problem mo ay kung magkano ang carrying amount ng kanyang investment after na-expire na yung kanyang share rights at hindi niya na-ibenta, hindi niya na-exercise, dito sa accounted for separately, ang kanyang investment ay 475,000. At wala na siyang share rights kasi sinero out na po natin yon. Not accounted for separately, ang kanyang investment account ay 500,000. So, yan ang mga differences ng accounted for separately at not accounted for separately. You make sure na alam mo kung paano ina-account ng investor ang kanyang share rights. Dahil magkaiba ang kanilang magiging carrying amount ng kanilang investment. Yan ang tip ko sa'yo dito sa share rights. Now, another thing that I want you to learn on this share rights is, itong practice questions natin ay merong fair market value ang ating stock rights. Paano kung hindi given ang market value ng ating share rights? Ano ang gagawin natin kung hindi ito given? We have two ways to calculate for the value of our stock rights. At ito yan. So, meron tayong two ways how to calculate for the value of the share rights. Kapag ang share rights ay may known fair market value, kagaya ng ating practice questions, meron siyang given na fair market value or the fair value of the share rights na 5 pesos, yan ang gagamitin mo kapag given or there is known value of the share rights. Yung value na yan, i-multiply lang natin sa number of share rights. Kagaya ng ating practice questions, ang number of share rights natin ay 5,000 share rights at ang fair value niya ay 5 pesos. So, i-multiply lang natin yan sa number of share rights. So, we get 25,000 as the value of our share rights. So, ang problema natin is kapag hindi given ang fair value or market value ng ating stock rights. So, ano ang gagawin natin? So, when the problem with no known fair value or market value, ang gagamitin natin ay theoretical or parity value of the share rights. Alright, so yan po ang gagamitin natin. Paano nga ba itong theoretical or parity value of the share rights? Paano natin siya kinakalculate? Ganito yan. So, if there's no known fair value of the stock rights, we will use what we call theoretical or parity value of the stock rights. Bago natin pag-usapan ang formula to calculate for the value of the share rights, alamin muna natin itong tatlong dates na ito. The date of declaration, the date of record, and the expiration date. So, date of declaration, ito yung day kung saan itong mga board of directors ng investee ay nag-approve na magdidistribute sila ng share rights sa mga existing stockholders. On the date of record naman, ito yung day kung saan yung mga nakarehistrong stockholders ang bibigyan ng share warrants. Ang share warrants, yan ang proof or certificate na meron kang stock rights. Expiration date naman, this is the last day na pwedeng i-exercise ng mga existing stockholders ang kanilang share rights. After the expiration date, worthless na po ang ating share warrants. In between this date of declarations and the date of records, this is what we call rights on. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung mga existing stockholders, kung ibebenta nila ang kanilang shares in between these dates, in between the date of declarations at date of record, kapag ibinenta nila ang shares, kasama ang rights. Let's say, for example, A&D investor, ibinenta niya ngayon sa ibang company. Let's say, for example, ibinenta niya kay X company. So, si A&D Company, our existing stockholders, ibinenta niya kay X Company in between these dates, ibinenta niya kasama ang kanyang rights. Kapag ibinenta naman ni A&D in between these dates, the date of record and the expiration date, this is what you call X right. In between these dates, si A&D pwede na niyang ibenta separately ang share warrants at saka yung shares niya. Now, so paano nga ba natin nakakalculate ang value ng share rights na yan kapag rights on or kapag ito ay X right? Ito po yung ating formula. Alright, so ito ang mga formulas natin kapag rights on, ang pag-calculate ng value of the share right is the value of one share rights on rights on is equal to the market value of the share, which is a right on, minus the subscription price divided by the number of rights to purchase one share plus 1. Don't forget the plus 1. Kapag X right naman siya, ang formula natin is the market value of share, which is the X right, minus the subscription price divided by the number of rights to purchase one share. Dito sa X right, wala siyang plus 1. Dito sa rights on, meron siyang plus 1. Yan ang difference nila. At ang market value ng shares kapag rights on at ang market value ng shares kapag X right siya. Dito sa practice questions natin, to calculate for the value of the share rights, to calculate for the value of the share rights kapag rights on ang ating practice questions, 150 is our market value of our shares. Then minus our subscription price all over the 5 plus 1. Value ng ating right ay 10 pesos. Kapag X right naman siya, ang value ng isang right natin ay So, kapag ang practice questions naman natin ay X rate siya, the value of one stock rate is equal to 150 minus 90, then divide by 5. Then, our value of one stock rate is 12 pesos. So, ganito po natin kinakalculate ang value ng share rates kapag walang given na fair value ang stock rights. Pag-usapan naman natin ang summary or mga tips na kailangan mong tandaan sa share right or stock rights. Ito yan. Alright, so pag-usapan natin ang summary o mga tips na kailangan nating tandaan when it comes to share rights or stock rights. So, dalawang way natin pwedeng i-account ang ating share rights. Itong accounted for separately at na-accounted for separately. At may tatlong pwede nating gawin sa ating share rights. Ito yung exercise of the stock rights, sale of the stock rights or share rights. Pwede nating ibenta ang ating share right. Pwede rin natin pabayaan na lang ang ating share rights na ma-expire. Yan ang expirations of our share rights. So, sa exercise of the stock rights, kung saan bumibili ng bagong shares si investor, the cost of the new investment is equal to the cost of the shares plus the value of the stock rights. Ang cost ng new investment is equal to the cost, yung subscription price times the number of shares na binili niya plus the value of the stock rights. Yung value ng share rights na in-exercise niya. Yan ang cost ng bagong investment ni investor by exercising the share rights. Kapag ang ginagamit naman niya ay not accounted for separately, ang cost ng bago niyang investment is only equal to the cost of the new shares. Alright, so yan ang pagkakaiba ng dalawang way ng pag-account ng share rights. Dahil in-exercise na ni investor ang kanyang share rights, isi-zero out na natin itong ating share rights. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately, wala tayong i-zero out kasi hindi natin sineparate ang value ng share rights sa investment. Under the accounted for separately, kapag ibinenta ni investor ang kanyang share rights, nagre-recognize tayo ng gain or loss on sale of the stock rights or share rights. Meron tayong value ng stock rights dito sa method na ito. Kasi sineseparate natin yung value ng share rights from the investment. So kapag ibinenta ng investor ang kanyang share rights more than the value of the share rights, nagkakaroon siya ng gain on sale of the stock rights. Kapag ibinenta naman niya less than the value of the stock rights, nagkakaroon siya ng loss on sale of the stock rights. Dito naman sa not accounted for separate, hindi tayo nagre-recognize ng gain or loss on sale of stock rights. Bakit hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng gain or loss on sale of stock rights? Kasi kung magkano natin naibenta yung stock rights na yun, yun na mismo ang binabawas natin sa ating investment. So, ganyan po ang ating pagbebenta ng ating share rights using this accounting of share rights. So, syempre, dito sa accounted for separately, isi-zero out din natin ang ating share rights dahil nga ibinenta na po natin. Kung hindi niya in-exercise o hindi niya ibinenta at hinayaan na lang niya itong ma-expire under accounted for separately, we will recognize a loss on stock rights or share rights. So kapag nag-expire na ang kanyang stock rights under this accounting, we will recognize a loss on stock rights na ipipresent natin sa ating income statement. Dito naman sa not accounted for separately, wala tayong i-recognize na loss on stock rights. Ang gagawin lang natin ay memorandum entry. Alright, so ito ang ating summary, ito ang aking tips with regards to stock rights, share rights, or right issue. The other term for the stock rights or share rights ay preemptive rights.